Sarah Martinez had built an empire from nothing, transforming a small tech startup into a Fortune 500 company that employed thousands. She could negotiate million-dollar deals, command boardrooms full of executives, and inspire entire teams with a single speech. But sitting alone at her cousin's wedding reception, watching couples glide across the dance floor in perfect harmony, she felt smaller than she had in years. The ivory silk of her dress pooled elegantly around her wheelchair, and the diamond earrings she'd worn for confidence caught the soft amber light of the venue's chandeliers. She'd arrived fashionably late, as CEOs do, but now she wished she'd stayed home. Every table buzzed with laughter and conversation, while she sat at the designated family table ironically empty except for her. Her relatives were scattered across the reception, absorbed in their own celebrations, leaving her with nothing but her champagne flute and the growing realization that success in business didn't translate to belonging at social gatherings. Sarah had been paralyzed from the waist down since a car accident in college, but she'd never let it define her limitations until moments like these. In the corporate world, her wheelchair was just another piece of furniture in the room. Here, surrounded by swirling gowns and men in perfectly pressed tuxedos, it felt like a barrier she couldn't strategize her way around. She was scrolling through emails on her phone, ready to make her polite excuses and leave, when a small voice interrupted her escape plan. "Are you sad like my daddy?" Sarah looked up to find a little girl, maybe 6 years old, standing beside her table. The child wore a powder blue flower girl dress with grass stains on the hem and a crooked daisy crown that had clearly seen better days throughout the ceremony. "I'm sorry?" Sarah asked, setting down her phone. "My daddy says he's sad at weddings because mummy's not here to dance with him. But you look sad too, and I don't know why." Before Sarah could respond, a man appeared beside the little girl, his face flushed with embarrassment. He was tall and lean, with kind eyes behind wire-rimmed glasses and dark hair that looked like he'd been running his fingers through it. His black suit was slightly rumpled, and Sarah noticed a small handprint on his lapel, evidence of his daughter's affection. "Emma, sweetheart, you can't just walk up to people." And he paused when he saw Sarah, and something shifted in his expression. "I'm so sorry. I'm Marcus, and this is my daughter Emma. She has a gift for asking the most direct questions at the worst possible moments." Sarah found herself smiling for the first time all evening. "I'm Sarah." And actually, she might be onto something. "I am feeling a bit out of place." Marcus studied her face with genuine interest rather than the polite distance she usually encountered. "Would you mind if we joined you? Emma's been collecting stories from every table, and I think she's decided you're her next interview subject." "Please." Sarah gestured to the empty chairs. "I could use the company." Emma scrambled into the seat beside Sarah while Marcus sat across from them. "Are you a princess?" Emma asked without preamble. "You have princess earrings." Sarah laughed, a real laugh that surprised her. "Not quite. I run a company." "Like a boss?" "Exactly like a boss." "Cool." "Daddy teaches kids, but he says someday he might be a boss too." "Right, Daddy?" Marcus smiled softly at his daughter. "Maybe someday, Em. Right now I'm happy being Mr. Peterson to a bunch of 8-year-olds." As the evening progressed, Sarah found herself genuinely enjoying their conversation. Marcus was a third-grade teacher who spoke passionately about his students and their potential. He was recently divorced, he mentioned casually, and doing his best to navigate single parenthood. Emma was precocious and funny, with an endless supply of questions about Sarah's boss job and whether she had any pets. When the band started playing a slow song, Couples began migrating toward the dance floor. Emma watched them with wide eyes, then turned to Sarah with sudden inspiration. "Daddy, you should ask Sarah to dance. Then you won't be sad anymore." Marcus's face went crimson. "Emma, that's not I mean, we can't just Actually," Sarah interrupted quietly, "I'd love to dance. I just a broken bar. Do it a little differently." The silence stretched for a moment before Marcus stood up and extended his hand with a small, uncertain smile. "Sarah Martinez, would you do me the honor of being my dance partner?" Sarah felt her heart skip as she took his hand. "I thought you never ask." Marcus wheeled her chair toward the edge of the dance floor while Emma trailed behind them like an excited puppy. Other couples made room as Sarah positioned her wheelchair and Marcus knelt on one knee beside her, taking her hands in his. They swayed gently to the music, her upper body moving gracefully while he remained beside her, their eyes locked in a moment of perfect understanding. Emma clapped her hands in delight, and Sarah noticed other guests stopping to watch, not with pity or curiosity, but with the same warm appreciation they showed any couple sharing an intimate moment. For the first time in years, Sarah felt truly seen, not as the CEO in the wheelchair, but simply as a woman being asked to dance by a man who looked at her like she was exactly what he'd been hoping to find. "Thank you," she whispered as the song neared its end. "Thank you," Marcus replied. "I haven't felt this present in a long time." When the music stopped, Emma rushed over to hug them both. "That was the most beautiful dance ever. Can we do it again?" As they returned to their table, Sarah felt something shift inside her chest, a warmth she'd forgotten existed. Marcus asked for her business card, then immediately laughed at himself. "Sorry, occupational hazard. What I meant was, would you maybe like to get coffee sometime? Emma makes an excellent chaperone." "I'd like that," Sarah said, meaning it completely. 6 months later, Sarah found herself in her office, staring at a photo on her desk. Marcus and Emma at the zoo, all three of them laughing at something Emma had said about the penguins. Her assistant knocked and peeked in. "Your 4 o'clock is here, Miss Martinez." "Also, there's a delivery." A small bouquet of daisies sat on her desk with a note, "For the best boss and best dance partner. Love, Marcus and Emma." Sarah smiled, remembering that night at the wedding when she'd felt so alone. Sometimes the most beautiful connections came from the most unexpected invitations. Sometimes all it took was someone brave enough to ask, "Will you be my date?" And sometimes, if you were very lucky, that someone came with a 6-year-old daughter who believed that everyone deserved to dance.